This is interesting. So he is going to be going in towards the Sion. Considered a pretty good matchup into the Jayce because you can kind of withstand the early game and then you hit a certain point where you are just supposed to be that brick wall. But it's interesting to see that Sion coming out here for Srtty as well as the Yorick band. Those are kind of some of the champions that Bwipo has been cooking with and maybe adopting some of that champion pool for himself. Waiting to see what the pick is going to be. It will be Nafiri getting locked in. They were hovering Xin, but two of the most popular AD junglers definitely so far this split.
Plus, I love, I mean, since Nafiri got the mini rework mega buff, we'll call it.
The mini mega?
Mini rework mega buff combo is a sweet combo to get if you're a jungler especially. It's usually very good for the jungle champs. And I love the matchup into Sejuani because you run Conqueror anyways on Nafiri, and she is easy times of avoiding the Sejuani CC with your W. It's very easy to time the immunity, but this is a matchup that I always love to see Quid on. When you have a Sejuani on your squad, slap a Sylas down there. Quid is such a good melee mid lane champion player. And if you ever get the priority of having engaged from Sejuani and the passive stack up, Sylas also has good ults to steal already on the enemy team, although it can get better. So we'll see as they try and do some protection bans for that Sylas pick, taking away the popular Rise right now.
And it's something that is, like you said, quite good against the Sylas and also really popular. Kalista going to get banned out in that second phase. I'm curious, so I don't play Nafiri or Sejuani. Is it actually pretty annoying, even just trying to queue into the Nafiri dogs?
Yeah, it is because the dogs are going to block stuff, as well as Nafiri being so mobile. You can also just dash away, create distance. Plus, even your passive stun has a little animation swing, so you
you can W that.
Like you should never get ulted. You should never get locked down. It's like, and you already want to be, like I said, a conqueror, AD champ, and so you kind of feast off of tanks.
Kind of reminds me of, I've been playing a lot of Gragas lately, and Gragas body slam just always gets stopped by the little mini dogs unless you can kind of flash past them, and your ulti always gets W'd by Nafiri, so definitely a frustrating matchup there. We are going to see the Ezreal coming in here for FBI, so waiting for that last pick for support, try to get a support beneficial matchup. Anytime I see Ezreal coming through, I am thinking, all right, are you going to go double ranged here, down in that bot lane and play for poke?
I didn't understand your question fully, but the dogs aren't going to actually stop the queue. It's just hard because you have the dogs in the way and she's so mobile. So it's not exactly like the Gragas one.
On Gragas, they actually just stop it. Because if you get hit by a Nafiri Q, you can't even body slam away. It actually cancels it.
Because Sejuani has to hit the champion to stop it. But anyways, the Viktor locked in as well. So very strong team fight there for Dignitas. Locking in, very good 5-on-5. They've got straightforward engage, carry jungler for Sheiden. This is one of the things we've been looking forward to since Sheiden was added into the league, since he loves climbing solo queue with hard carry, jungle champions. So we'll see if he can actually shine, if Dignitas can pull off some sort of upset here versus 100 Thieves. And they're going to slam down some support into this. I mean, Leona is still available, or you could go defensively like a Braum. Since Nautilus is already locked in, Braum is so good against it in lane. There you go. You get the better team fight option for yourself with the Braum. Do definitely like this 400 Thieves. They have so much Freljord synergy, so much CC from the Sejuani and the Braum here, and all the stuns that can come through.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Braum passive as well as the Sejuani passive going to be pretty difficult to deal with. It's interesting seeing that Dig is going for what I would consider pretty standard scaling comp. Generally when you see teams towards the bottom of the standings, they're going to be looking more for kind of high variance stuff, a little bit crazier. But this is definitely just kind of straightforward, standard. You have multiple forms of engage. You have a good front line. You have some scaling carries here, and we'll see how they can match up against 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves always seems to be this team that is kind of getting doubted a bit. Even last week on Pros, we had people talking about 100 Thieves, potentially being that team that could get knocked out of the top 4 by someone like Lion. So we'll see if they can shut up the haters once again, as they have been doing time and time again. I'm actually a 100 Thieves believer at this point. I do think that they are a championship contender ever since they added FBI, and I do think they are pretty heavily favored in all of their matchups this weekend.
Yeah, especially with comps like this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the time to step up. You have some of these easier teams in the strength of schedule. Let's see what you got. that. Let's see what you can do in this head-to-head against Srtty. And we also have, of course, kind of, we'll call it triple melee topside because, of course, Jayce can go melee for him, but that pairing with the Sejuani alongside the Sylas and the Jayce is going to be quite strong. And I just always, even though Quid is a really good range player, can play Azir, can play scalers, I always associate him so heavily with these aggressive melee champs, and I think that's really where he does excel. So I think it's going to be a big challenge here for Keine, and he is taking the grasp to try to answer that challenge here on the Viktor. It is going to give him, more of that kind of early laning power. A lot of people do like that Q start on Viktor. You just walk up, auto Q auto, and try to be proccing those grass to really tax the HP here from Quid.
Got a little seasick there with the side view. I've never seen Summoner's Rift from the side like that over the river. Let's see about the early brush control, though. FBI here with Eyla. Of course, the bottom lane is a big topic. We are setting up for this matchup. Tomo versus 100 Thieves when he joined them last time, really saved the organization and in their time of need. And Eyla knows him, quite well from laning against him. So FBI, we'll see what the replacement can do.
Also, nicely played there. Tomo actually going Q start. Almost always you do see E start on the Varus, but he did get an auto Q, hit the second Q as well. This is that bot lane history. Last year they were playing with Meech. Obviously, they were really struggling. They lost 4 straight series, 3 0-2s as well. And then they brought in Tomo. Tomo really did help them have that resurgence here and was able to help them get to Worlds, was a big part of that. I do think that FBI is an upgrade from Tomo, but Tomo does deserve credit for what he was able to accomplish with the team. And we can see Quid is taking a pretty big hurting here. Was able to actually connect on his first Abscond Abduct, but ended up going pretty bad for him just because it meant more spells were coming out there from Keine. And again, he is playing that Grasp, which makes it really tough in the early laning phase. And Quid has already used both potions. He's only at 150 HP right now, if that's accurate on the side, just cresting about 200 health right now. So you get hit by another spell or two, and it's back to base. And he doesn't really have a buy at this point. He only got the 10 CS.
Yeah, and he's got Doran's Ring, does not have the shield either to hug and rely on. So Keine doing a good job with the lasers here, keeping that poke up against him. Quid's trying to struggle through and pick up some of the last hits. It's going to be a while, though. River finishing the full clear first before Sejuani would be able to come on over and try and put some or relieve some of that pressure.
And this is the last time these guys did match up, was at Worlds. Keine did actually get the best of them. It was kind of this expected matchup that everyone was looking at and saying, all right, 100 Thieves, the mid jungle, they're going to dominate. But it was Keine who was crushing here. And even on some spicy picks, bringing out the LeBlanc in one of the games, really got the best.
Speaking of River.
Yeah, it could be trouble here. Tomo trying to get out, does use a cleanse, has a flash, gets the first blood. FBI shifting forward, trying to take him down. Can Tomo get him back? Just barely doesn't finish him, but Isles does. It is going to be a 2-for-2 at the end of the day, but it's a 2-for-2 in a 3v2, and Sheiden is chasing after Quid here, trying to get another one. You can see that River down there on the bot side trying to crash this wave. Won't be able to fully get it in until after this wave, so we'll see how much they actually are going to lose. And this is pretty smart. They're going to send Srtty down towards bot to be able to actually catch this. Surprised he's not using the teleport because there is a lot of minions there, but Sheiden now looking for River. River going to be forced to flash back here. So we'll get the wave in. They will lose a fair bit of it. And again, really surprised that Srtty actually decides not to TP because he's going to lose a fair number of minions as a result, but still will catch a lot of these ranged minions and get quite a bit of the XP. And Tomo and Isle straight up towards that top side here right after that play. Do really like how they were able to pull that off in the 2v2. Let's watch it one more time.
Especially how aggressive Tomo goes here. As soon as Sejuani shows, they go for the kill, and he gets a very quick pop onto Eyla here. So Eyla jumps in, makes the play to get the stun onto him, but Tomo cleanses off, flashes away from the E from FBI to be able to get off his next 2 spells here before he goes down. So that Eyla can finish off that kill. And as you say, in a 2v3 situation, they go 2-for-2 in kills, and it ends up being right into that swap up towards the top side for Grubs here. 5 minutes on the clock. Meanwhile, the price you paid for showing for that gank was the mid lane flash off of Quid, who has been hurting as far as the CS early on, of course, but that did exacerbate the issue as Sheiden was able to go get his flash and the Sejuani flash here pre-Grubs. When the mid laner and jungle both don't have their flashes now for Grub's fight, makes it a lot more dicey.
Absolutely, and I mean, you look across the board at the lane matchups, it's CS advantages for Dignitas in all 3 lanes right now. So they are feeling really good about how this early game is going. 2-2, of course, in the kills, but they are up 600 gold because of that superior laning thus far. And Keine, and with that early Ruby Crystal, I'm assuming that he is just going to be going towards the super popular, Roa into Leandries. We've been seeing more and more people pick this up, even on different champions. Some people aren't the biggest fan of it because they feel like it's too defensive, but against this kind of aggressive and low range of a comp, I think it's quite good. And in comes the Sion ulti, and Quid's got no flash, and it looks like he's got no way out, but River's coming in, trying to turn around the play. Doesn't have the damage to finish Keine off. Srtty going to grab a great kill on the roam there, as we see Isles looking for the predict, and River again in this position holding the wave.
And Srtty is going to be able to teleport back to his lane, so that's why he held it earlier, so now he can do his roam play into teleport back to catch his minion waves while Sheiden picks up the grubs as well. That Sion ultimate roam from him was beautiful on a Quid who did not have flash from the earlier play. Very, very nicely done for Dignitas to increase their gold lead and grab their grubs. Dignitas early game here looking nice.
Yeah, it's looking really strong, honestly. Credit to Dignitas. I think this is the best early game we've seen from them thus far by quite a lot. Dignitas and DSG are the 2 teams that are actually averaging, negative 1K or higher at 15 minutes into the game. So they are by far the worst early game so far in this league. But a great start here. Bot lane looking good, mid lane looking good, and now that top lane getting involved. And you never want to see Jayce, the Sion, getting a lot of gold, because he just becomes this brick wall you cannot get through. Of course, Sniper does have the tier. He's going to be stacking up. He's going to be scaling pretty well, but if Srtty gets ahead of the curve, it's just going to be so hard to punish him. River, of course, is trying to stay involved, trying to get as much as he can done. Does steal away the red buff and has been involved in both of those 100 Thieves kills on that bot side, covering for mid as well, holding the wave to try to not allow that CS to get even worse for Quid.
Yeah, Quid here. Let's see what they can do. Eyla comes through the lane first, but you are going to have Isles roaming around on Nautilus as well, so just try and catch it, be a little bit safe here.
Yeah, you can see Quid 5 and 12 on the Sylas, so has not been his most successful pick by any means, but definitely known as one of those melee players, and we'll see if he can start to right the ship, so to speak. Does have the Nautilus ult to steal, which will be quite nice, and definitely going to be, I think, the key one that he is looking for here.
Yeah, it's interesting. I want to see about this this invade and setup, because look at this deep vision. They've got deep vision on the red quadrant as well as blue quadrant right now. High value plant right there does find all 3 of them though, so they quickly clear it out. Isn't going to see those comeback plays that River can set up, and of course Sejuani with the ultimate ready definitely will be looking for those on the opposite side of the map.
And as we see these 2 guys matching up in the top lane, Srtty and Sniper have already faced each other a couple times in Tier 2. It's actually the first time they've faced each other in Tier 1 play, so have a bit of history against each other. Srtty was able to 2-0 Sniper in Proving Grounds in 2022 summer, and then Sniper was able to get the best of him the next time around. So they are 2 wins apiece. This would be the deciding game for the best of 5 here.
In our ultimate grudge match.
Exactly. And these are 2 of the most hyped young NA top laners that we've had in a really long time. Sniper, of course, having a great year last year with 100 Thieves coming in, and Srtty this year is someone that has been talked about a lot. We'll see if River can get out. He's going to have to flash there, as Isles on the roam does force that. River, though, going to be spotted. Not too worried about Sheiden. Sheiden has just been kind of power farming, does have the XP advantage right now, and Quid, the Nautilus ult was about to expire, so he just throws that down onto Keine, trying to get a bit of a chip. But Keine, of course, does have that resolve primary, has the Aurora, the Catalyst already completed, and does use the Q shield there as well, so the Nautilus ult really not getting anything.
This mid lane priority from Dignitas is affording them so many benefits. Really good usage of the resources that they've sent mid. First, Keine doing it himself in lane phase, but then Sheiden, as well as Srtty, making their visits. It's turning into a lot of control for them that get them some big wins, as well as some of these small ones, like the flash that was blown. So let's see about the next spawn of grubs here, and they head to that top side to set up for it nice and early.
Definitely don't want to be giving over 6 grubs when you are getting pushed in a lot of these lanes. That would be concerning, but 100 Thieves, of course, sending their bot lane top as well to match. Sheiden already up here on that top side, and River is just doing his Krugs right now. So both teams in the area.
It's hard because Ghostblade is so cheap. You know, the spike comes in for Tomo. He skips boots in order to grab it, so you've got the Ghostblade ready on him.
Rather have that than the call?
Yeah. So it's going to be a little bit of a difference there in the damage. Ezreal's also still at tower.
Yeah, maybe he can just try to steal one. We'll see if they're going to be able to do it. Quid does steal that Chains of Corruption. The hook forward, it's going to connect there onto the Braum, and Ayla's in a lot of trouble. Ayla is just locked down and burst down, and now I don't think they're going to be able to get any of these grubs. River just accepting defeat is going to have to back it up, and it should be 6 grubs for Dignitas. They're going to grab the Feet of Warfare. They're going to grab both of those 3 packs of grubs, so now they're only 1 objective away from feats here. And Dignitas in a really good spot early on.
Yeah, I think that 100 Thieves were not planning on actually fighting that. You know, like you're saying, you just want to always try and steal one away, but it's a good engage there.
Oh, they're going to look for Keine. River going forward. There's the shift from FBI. They force the flash, but honestly, I don't even know if he needed to. He is just so damn tanky, and he's still sitting at, you know, above 2/3 HP, it feels like right now, but a little bit of pressure there from River at least gets the summoner.
All right.
That's a fast Roa, wow.
It certainly is. It's going to stack up really quick. He's also, the extra kills that are happening are also benefiting him from getting the extra charges. So stack up that passive, get those upgrades, get the stacks on your Dark Seal, get the stacks on your Rod of Ages going, get the stacks on your Grasp going. He certainly is going to be a tanky and powerful Viktor in this game. Definitely one of the champions that can benefit and snowball off of some of these successful early skirmishes. And since they've got 6 grubs, you know, Tomo's able to get a bunch of extra money here with the Varus as well in mid lane. Another turret plate cashed in. Kaine's going to get more on the top side too.
And bot lane is actually pushed in by the Sion because he got that big chunk on Sniper out of the brush. So all 3 lanes are going to be getting value out of those 6 grubs. And you can see immediately it just pops up from 1.5 to now 1.9. Now Eyla's going to find Ayla. Not sure they'll have the damage to be able to get anything more than a chunk here, but does defend the pink ward. And Tomo just constantly putting this pressure on FBI, who's out of mana. And FBI not wanting to give up too much damage to that tower, but is going to be sent back to base now on no mana. So it's likely even another plate that's going to be going over, as Srtty was looking for an angle to potentially cancel Sniper on that base, but not going to find it.
All right, so it continues for Dignitas. I mean, more alone time versus the tower there. Tomo's going to get more gold as Sheiden goes to try and invade off of the extra pressure. Even with no one behind you on Nafiri, you can go for these because you have so many escapes with your dash, as well as with your immunity. Holy moly, the mid tower is almost toast already. Constantly under pressure here. And Sheiden constantly getting chunks as well. Dignitas, all they have to do... Well, wait a second. As we get another chunk up here.
Yeah, Ayla's trying to get over there. Quid with the stolen ulti. Both ultis overlap fully, though, onto Keine, and Keine is just too damn tanky. Isles is in between and throws down the Ignite. It's going to be forced to flash back as Sheiden popping the ulti onto Ayla, trying to finish him off, and here comes Srtty. River's in a lot of trouble, trying to get out of there, but is rooted up, and Kaine's going to be able to help to finish him off. Quid now running, but Sheiden in the back line, looking to take them both down. Nicely timed ultimate from Ayla, but it doesn't matter, because here comes Tomo with the piercing arrow. The dogs can't quite finish the job, and Sniper's pushing bot side, but they're going to get the first tower. They're getting all the kills, and Dignitas are running over the Thieves.
They are. Are Dignitas going to be the first of the bottom 4 teams to take a game off the top 4? Already this opening early game is so overwhelming. That one, just the flood of extra pressure from mid lane up through the jungle to the roam to top side gets them a bunch of extra kills plus a lot of extra territory to work with. First of all, here they've got 3 fights going on. You see on the mini-map the other 2 winning pressure, but they also teleport Srtty up to make the difference here and actually collect on some of the kills. Quid get chunked down so low that by the time Sheiden runs over here with Ayla, they already have them trapped under tower. River has no way out. You continue to stack up extra stuff here for the Viktor as well. And Tomo even gets another snipe.
Yeah, nice Q flash from him to be able to just barely get in range. Ayla timed the Braum ulti as well as he could out of that W from the Nafiri, but not able to do anything. Ends up falling, and Kaine's just looking so tanky. Now has the Merc Treads coming in. I mean, River and Quid, they fully overlapped on their ultis. and Quid just got peeled off by Eyla. Eyla just kind of stood in between him, rooted them up, and Quid was not able to get much damage down on Keine. Even when the CC has landed, he has not seemed threatened whatsoever with this super tanky build that he is going for. And Dignitas really starting to run away with it, but 100 Thieves trying to get a dragon back here. Soul may be one of their only win conditions from this point. And it is going to be a hextech Soul, so definitely one of those prime ones, but it's going to be tough to take the fight. We'll see. They're going to look for it. Tomo going to be forced to cleanse out as Sheiden's in trouble. In comes Quid, and FBI's here as well. This could be the fight that gets them back into it, but Tomo's still alive. Quid is low on health. Eyla will fall, but can they get more? Sheiden's going to go back in, but was that the right choice? As Sniper takes down Tomo on the other side, it's Sheiden going to fall as well. It's a bunch of kills for the Thieves, and just like that, they're back in it.
Oh, the Braum doing so much work there, because as soon as Tomo cleanses the initial engage from River, it is immediately followed up by the knockup from Eyla. So let's take another look at it. They already got the dragon, and then River sees the angle. He makes the call. He goes straight for Tomo. Cleanses used, boom, into the knockup, and they're able to get the rest of them through. Quid can follow up, even though Nautilus will kind of buy some time right there. And Sheiden decides, hey, I'm going to go back in to finish these kills. He can only get one. Ayla's actually able to jump to the other side of River, and they get the nice little bump there to make sure he can't pop off. Sometimes the Nafiri picking up a couple extra kills off the back end of it would be super scary, but very good recovery from 100 Thieves. And since they got the other dragon, you know, in payment earlier, now all of a sudden they chop down on the big gold lead, and they have the couple dragons in their pockets leading up to a team that has mega engage on their side, having a very big threat towards consecutive dragon stacking.
Yeah, I mean, they have a real threat at just being able to fight these dragons, where a couple of minutes ago it didn't seem like they would be in a position to do so. 10 members top lane, though, both teams looking to try to brawl it out. We'll see who can land the poke. There's a great hook and the Chains of Corruption both landing on the Sniper, and Sniper is just gone at the start of the fight. Big pick for Dignitas, and the start of the fight is also the end of it. You cannot scrap after that one.
All right. Varus ultimate and Sion ultimate, both very nicely invested to grab another objective plus the extra kill. I mean, I guess you can push the wave on bottom side for 100 Thieves, but Dignitas will be able to collect it with Keine. He's even being cautious here, walking through to the tower. Ludwig, yeah.
Ludwig's
looking over here streaming, getting ready. He's intense.
NA Amumu goat right there.
Look at that analysis going on, fully invested.
Actually, here is a positional coach for all our junglers today. Mumu lessons will be on offer at the end of the day, so any LTA players who wish to apply.
Where do we sign up?
Oh, yeah, you know, you can sign up right over at the Ludwig booth. Just let him know. You know, he's got a sign-up sheet. As Quid going to be pushing down on that bottom side. It was actually a lot of fun watching Ludwig push all the way to, I think he got all the way to plat, and definitely fun. Quite
quickly. I think the impressive part was the speed.
Yeah, exactly. My goat. Definitely, it's fun to see people picking up League and loving it. Quid down on this bot side does have the stolen ultimate here. We can see the Herald's going to get summoned, though, so this tower, not long for the world. They do have Sniper pushing on top side, so likely going to be an attempt at a trade here. But also mid lane again, FBI going to be getting pushed in, and they can even drive this Herald in and get the 12 mini grub spawn because they have those 6 grubs. So if you can actually crash, you get so many of those Void Mites coming out, and Dignitas pushing forward here, trying to get this in. Sniper will claim the top tier 1, so it's a 1-for-1 trade for now, but they are going to drive it in. We'll see if 100 Thieves can find the engage. Chains of Corruption does come down. Keine going to be in some trouble, though. Braum stepping forward and blocking so much of this damage. The teleport's coming through from both of these top laners. Potentially trying to look. Sniper actually not going to teleport, but he does get the snipe. Tomo catches Eyla with the arrow to the back. I thought Sniper was going to join, but it actually ends up being pretty good because he doesn't. He's pushing towards this tier 2. It's going to get the teleport out of Keine, who's now on 2 items. Eyla on this Braum blocked up so much damage, but it just wasn't quite enough. And ends up going down. Yeah, it was just at the end. Barely gets sniped out. Tomo really making 100 Thieves regret a little bit letting him go there. He's doing his best in this game. He has had a lot of pressure, hit a lot of snipes. Let's take a look at this one because the teleports are actually kind of after a lot of the action. The Sion has been pushing mid lane right now, and it's after the ejection. It is the Braum that got the knock-up to put all the pressure here on Viktor to interrupt as he was ejecting from it. And then Eyla kind of think he's okay after the initial engage, but then walked back over for literal no reason towards the Viktor storm and then got sniped. Yeah, Eyla could be in some trouble now. Going to get chased down, going to get rooted up and burst down. Tomo taking down his former support on back-to-back plays. How do you like it when I'm on the other team?
Probably not a lot.
Not a lot. Yeah, judging off this game, not a lot.
Yeah, okay. The only thing going for 100 Thieves is the split push. Sniper on top side, looking at the secondary tower there. That would be a decent amount of gold, but
they're going to try to
Dignitas...
fight. They are moving down. Is Sniper going to teleport? They have the ward there. Will River be able to find an angle for a steal? Now Sniper coming in here. Isles does spot the teleport. Srtty's on the side, trying to zone out River. Quid just on the mini wave. Otacon's getting quite low. Sniper has eyes on it. FBI and him trying to get some poke down. Sheiden is almost dead to the Otacon. Can River get over there? He flashes in, but he can't quite get it. They do get the withdraw. Quid with the Stolen Chains of Corruption is going to whiff, and Tomo is looking to knock him down. Quid so low. Can he survive? He can't, but Eyla is back, and the battle is on. Sniper jumping forward. Katie trying to do it himself. It's him and Isles versus the world, but in comes FBI, in comes Sniper, and they are going to wipe the GAs off the map. Dignitas claim the objective, but that's the only thing that averts complete disaster, because imagine if River stole that, Kobe.
That was so sick from 100 Thieves. River throws out his ulti, and then he places himself to flash over the wall while Quid goes for the engage. Incredibly close, and even though they don't win the flip, they still turn the fight. Quid there at the end. Srtty has to flash to be able to go, finish the kill, and they chase them all down. Keine had nothing left at the end. Again, Braum locking them up after returning from being the pick. He was able to revive and then run all the way to the end of the fight. Golden Glue is like, at first, we don't get the
least
flip,
stressful
but
game.
we still got the win in the fight. So they did still wipe all the Otacon buffs off, and now you get 200 gold for each one, plus some flower petals. Bonus for yourself. So
and the third dragon, they're on soul point, so that is really strong. And I gotta say, this is one of these cases where sometimes people are just disrespecting the Otacon damage, and I've seen a lot of pro POVs in these situations where they're watching the potential fight and not the Otacon. And Sheiden was just tanking the drain from Otacon over and over and taking the orbs. When the fight started, he was at like
so
10% health from the Otacon damage. So they are going to find out Eyla here. Chains of Corruptions does connect, but this time not getting a lot. He does have the Mercs for the reduced CC. Quid trying to wave clear here, steals that Nautilus ult. They're looking. Tomo is very low in the back, but they will knock down the tier 2 and extend that gold lead back up to 1.4k. But we are all eyes on this next dragon. Hextech Soul, strongest one of the game. You got Ezreal Jayce, this poke comp that can really apply it. If you give that over, it is trouble. But River's going to take the Hex Gate here with Quid. They're trying to see if they could find anyone in the jungle. Not going to be able to spot them, so it will just be a move towards mid and looking again at that outer tower.
That last one, it reminded me so much of a lot of the teams, talking about 100 Thieves and how they will still just take these fights on the objectives. Even down in numbers, they did a good job of flanking from both sides. I thought the timing on the engage from both River and Quid at the same time to flash in, go for the pressure, and even if you don't hit the flip, still being in a good spot in the fight for themselves. So.
Yeah, and
tenacious from 100 Thieves to fight their way back into this game, because Dignitas had been absolutely stomping. A lot of early leads off of the opening of the game, especially around the Viktor and the poke Varus. They've just been racking up gold, and now
Katie potentially in trouble. It's going to be Isles getting caught out, but 100 Thieves are going to have to retreat as the teleport's coming in from Sion. Can they get the chase here onto FBI? Looks like no. So 100 Thieves going to be happy about that, forcing out the teleport, and not much of a response, but the game very, very close. Just like it is a bit on a knife's edge here, as 100 Thieves, as you say, have clawed their way back. And I mean, I just can't help but imagine that smite from Sheiden came in at 129 health, I want to say it was, right around 100. If that had been stolen by River, you get full wiped, you lose the objective, and they have GAs, it would be potentially lights out. So very, very close. Kaine's still in a great spot here, though. Deathless, of course, did have the withdraw from the GA, as is his top laner, and he is still 2,000 gold ahead, working towards that Void Staff. Does have the expected Leandri's Roa build, so very tough to knock down.
Yeah, definitely so. I think, too, credit to just what Braum brings to these team fights.
A big shield.
A very big shield, but his ults have been very good. He's interrupted a lot of stuff on the ults. And they've either been targeted at either Keine locking up that Viktor or at Tomo, and greatly reducing the enemy carry DPS. So even though he has gone down a bunch.
We'll see if he can jump back over the wall. The sniper is able to do so. And yeah, I mean, it's tough. You know, you do die a lot, but also when you're behind as a support, you still need to fight for vision. You're the one that's kind of, you know, sacrificing for the team in a lot of these spots. And I think Eyla is playing it well. In general, obviously, a lot of credit has been given to FBI for how this bot lane has been looking throughout Split 1. You know, they make it to the finals. But Eyla also really did level up and is deserving of that credit. It is the duo as a whole that have been doing well. 100 Thieves now playing towards this top side. Srtty is going to spot Quid here, but River is in the area as well, and Srtty has no flash. Not going to be too worried about a hard engage, of course. He's Sion and he's very tanky. And 100 Thieves not going to want to commit to that. Happy to continue playing for these waves and very likely look towards this dragon that is going to be spawning in 45.
Yeah, have to be very careful here as the objective is approaching. Everybody, Srtty's about to have his flash and we'll have everyone available, so it is going to get dicey here as we rotate over to it, because Dragon Soul has got to be the full commit. I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh yeah, let's, you know, try and race Baron or something. It's going to be fight your way in for vision, look for the engage.
They are a little bit split on the side. Quid trying to threaten a potential flank. River on the side as well. Srtty is going to be getting focused down here, and Srtty is taking a lot of damage. He flashes, but he gets hit by the Jane's Corruption, and Srtty's in trouble. Srtty's knocked down and shut down, and now it's Isle's turn to be in trouble. And Sniper's going to get burnt down to the other side. 100 Thieves are having to kite back from this zombie passive. Sheiden getting chunked, so is Isles. 100 Thieves have spent a lot of their ultis here. They're empty as far as that is concerned, but the same is true on the other side. Srtty has no teleport when he does respawn. Sniper does if they can make this fight go long. But critically, Eyla and FBI grabbing the honey fruit there. Going to be able to heal back up, and Quid will have his ulti here in a little bit, but Sheiden trying to pressure him here with Keine, pushing him back on the side as FBI and River do work slowly on this dragon. Nice attempt at the hook there from Isles, but Quid is able to dodge out and now trying to threaten to take the gate here. Dignitas have kind of grabbed control in this area, but they're getting chunked down very low, and now the stolen Nautilus is going in across the team, and it's going to knock up Keine, but it's going to be Quid in trouble on the side, trying to kite back. River and FBI fighting forward here. Keine, Tomo, and Sheiden have them really low and do have them on the run. Sniper now respawn. He's immediately teleporting into mid lane, and it's going to be Srtty coming back as well, but River is taking this dragon. It's going to get down to a flip here. Sheiden trying to finish him off. River's at dangerously low health, trying to get back in to finish the dragon, but it's going to be taken by River, and they grab the hextech soul. Now Srtty in so much trouble. He's trying to run back to Keine. Keine trying to lay down the covering fire, as is Tomo, but FBI is here and he won't let him out alive. 100 Thieves, by the slimmest of margins, take the dragon, take the fight, and take the soul.
Holy, these junglers must be sweating at that dragon, looking for the smite, and it is hextech soul on a team that has an Ezreal and a Jayce poke. So incredibly powerful, but I gotta compliment Quid especially. This fight that we just saw at the beginning of here, where you saw him flanking around the top side, and also the previous mid engagement, Quid played it so well, not over-committing as a Sylas, yoinking the ult and then going back in, but here's where it got so dicey. And they lock up Sheiden there towards the other side of Dragon, while River was barely able to gain enough space and stay alive for the smite at the very end.
Crazy.
And that thing was so close to smite range.
I mean, the junglers had a combined maybe 400 or 500 health between the two of them, and then the smite comes down to a couple hundred health, and oh my god. Oh man, I just love the reactions there.
Everybody who's not even junglers, when the objectives are that low and the junglers are, everyone is just, everybody is clenching at that moment.
It's definitely a scary moment there. 100 Thieves still down in kills, but now in a great position in the game. Eyla gonna let the ulti rip onto Srtty. Srtty losing a lot of his health there, down to about half HP now, as Quid is even poking away on the side, and Quid now level 16 on the Sylas. That ulti cooldown is gonna be really low. That's where you can start getting multiple rotations out in these extended fights. And 100 Thieves still kind of playing towards that top side of the map, trying to threaten in towards the Baron. If anyone on Dignitas gets too low, they may look for this. Keine forced the flash, Change Corruptions does connect there, and in comes Eyla trying to block up for Quid, but look over the wall, in comes Sheiden trying to finish him off, but he's gonna get interrupted on his dash. They do get the kill. Sniper has to flash out over the wall as they are getting cooked by the Viktor ultimate. Eyla low, so is River, so is Sniper, but they can't finish the kills, and they go +1 again. This has to be so frustrating for Dig.
Oh my, I thought that they were almost almost even able to save Quid. Eyla jumped in like a hero there, almost barely saved Quid, but Dignitas do end up taking him down. Still, like you say, it's only 1 kill for 2. And again, the relentless onslaught of Hextech Soul with this much poke damage on the side of 100 Thieves, just so hard for Dignitas to position. There it is. So Keine flashes the Sejuani ult, and the edge of his gravity
field. Get down, Mr. President.
Yeah, Eyla jumps in like a hero, blocking for him, but over the wall, they almost knock up twice Sheiden to fully protect him, but finish that off anyways in the end. And they got Sniper's flash there too, so Dignitas maybe still with some angles. The Viktor certainly is very powerful here. And no flashes now for... Wait a second.
Just barely dodging the hook there is Eyla, and you can see those zaps just coming out constantly now. It's so frustrating to play against with poke because not only is it the damage, it's also that mini slow that does come out, makes it harder to actually chase down, makes it harder to escape, and they are just constantly getting that procced in onto them. You can see FBI now fully 3 completed items, as is Sniper. Quid working towards his third, still very far behind where Keine is, and he's going to have to do a lot of the heavy lifting because he's the only one with any sort of a real advantage. Srtty was doing well in the early phase, but Sniper has just been sticking to those side lanes, playing for his individual advantage, and that has really paid off for him now. It's a 3K gold lead up in the top lane, and Sniper is a real threat at this point.
Yeah, and maybe their hope is that now that he does not have Flash in the side lane, maybe they could try and pick him off, send a bunch of members there to try and punish that Jayce, because you're certainly looking for 100 Thieves to overextend and play too much of the map simultaneously and then kind of make your move. You do have a Sion ultimate ready, you have your Nautilus ult, so the possibilities are there for Dignitas to try and make a quick play. But you do have to be very quick about it.
That was pretty spooky from River, though. He had no flashing. He almost got hooked out of the air on that blast cone. Could have been problematic for him. Might have been able to get out anyway, but definitely could have been trouble if he went down over by that Baron. Definitely one of the ways that Dignitas could look to come back. You can see they're trying to play for vision in this area, but it's so tough to walk in against this Ezreal and this Jayce. You're walking through this tight corridor, and you're just getting poked down time and time and time again.
Sion
but they have to fight for
side.
vision. We'll see if they can find it.
If you get an open Sion ultimate through the beginning of mid lane, sometimes that can solve poke issues, because you always need that dream hard engage, right?
Yeah, and we'll see if they can find that. Dignitas now kind of looking, trying to get some damage down here onto River, who's getting chipped down the side, but at the same time, Eyla is in trouble. But look over at Srtty. Srtty's found FBI, and FBI gets locked down by the Chains of Corruption, killed by the AD carry he replaced. Keine at the same time, though, getting low as well. Sniper's coming in. Keine trying to run here. He's down incredibly low, and the stolen Viktor ultimate takes him down. Anything you can do, I can do better, says Quid, as he's trying to knock down Sheiden and Tomo are kiting back and forth, trying to survive. But Quid dives in, and Quid kills everyone, and 100 Thieves get the triple from their mid laner, ace their opponents, and take full control.
100 Thieves are gonna go straight down mid lane after that full ace. What a fight, even with the Sion ult. Getting into the side, getting back to FBI and him going down, the rest of the 100 Thieves are able to take over and run it through the base. We got respawns already here from Isles, but everybody else is almost 20 seconds.
Yeah, they're positioning like they want to end. Quid looking aggressively in towards Isles. With that miss, though, I think they are going to retreat. They're going to take their victory and back it up. But Quid's going back in. This is going to get potentially risky as people are going to start responding. But Isles is just too far up. Isles going to flash out. He's going to go down anyway and loses the ulti. And now you're down a man for the Elder that is up here, so they probably can't even contest that. River and FBI are just going to start it.
Quid is a beast, and 100 Thieves here with the soul looking to finish off the Elder. I don't think there's a world where Sheiden gets over here for another exciting smite fight. It's just too far away. It's burning down too quickly. This game has been full of them, but this is not going to be another chance. And now, with the Elder, you get to move straight over to Baron, and there's no way Dignitas can fight you on the Baron because you have the Elder buff, and then you get to go knock on their door with all of the endgame buffs of Soul, Elder, and Baron.
Yeah, and Quid now very close even to his death cap. Already had that third item, Zhonya's, and working towards that death cap. Probably going to have the gold once they get the Baron, and that is going to be a massive spike for him. He's actually now ahead of Keine after being way down for so long in this game. Quid and Eyla on the side here, looking to keep them away. Remember, they have that Elder Dragon buff. A fight here feels kind of like suicide, but giving up both of those powerful buffs feels incredibly difficult as well. That's a situation Dignitas will be faced with here, though. They've got to hope they can wave clear, try to delay until that Elder does expire, but it's 140 until that happens, and that is an eternity in their position right now.
Certainly is. They're doing their best to try and clear out some of the minion waves, but the poke keeps on coming through from 100 Thieves. The onslaught now, once you're inside the base, you can farm all 3 waves as you slowly siege up here. Baron buff is going to do a lot of work. Elder Dragon poke.
Yeah, this poke is just so rough. Srtty is just paper. Srtty gets burst down by the stolen Elder Dragon, and now Quid just steals the Viktor ult and drops it on his opponents to send them back to the fountain here. Elder plus hextech Soul doing so much work. Sheiden chunking down River incredibly low as well, though. Maybe that gives them a bit of an angle to try to hold on. It's up to Keine and Tomo, but Quid is looking forward. Tomo has to pop the Ghost Blade and run back to the well as in goes Azael, but there's the immediate Zhonya's from Quid. The Chains of Corruption only connects on to Eyla, but Quid is alive and Quid is fighting. They're all piling in and looking to finish the game. It's just Keine and Sheiden now. Quid goes godlike, but then he goes down. 4 members of 100 Thieves standing tall in the base. The supers are coming and they're looking to close this one out. 30 seconds now on the Elder buff. Eyla jumping forward, looking for an angle there onto Sheiden. The gravity well is going to get dropped and it's going to stun Eyla up. Keine has got to find a miracle, but I think he doesn't have it in him. The respawn now, though, back from Srtty. Can they focus the Nexus? Srtty's in the middle. Shaiden's down. Kaine's getting pushed back. And eyes on the Nexus for 100 Thieves. They'll complete the comeback, move to 3-2, and take down Dignitas.
Oof, another really strong Sylas game from Quid, but I got flashbacks to last split where he smurfed on Sylas and then at the Nexus turrets, they end up throwing and losing. It doesn't happen this time around, though. They finish the comeback. Really nicely done since Dignitas put so much pressure early on towards the mid lane with multiple people going to gank for the Viktor as well. Really strong early game from Tomo. A lot of snipes from him. In the end, though, 100 Thieves just too good with their fighting, with their skirmishes, with their smiting as well.
I mean, 100 Thieves, they win like they lose. They will just fight you and fight you time and time and time again. This team never goes down without swinging, but don't miss any LTA action when you get your favorite foods delivered on Uber Eats for less gold. Scan the QR code on screen, click the link in chat or the Uber Eats button on lolesports.com to access the Champion Shop featuring exclusive deals and 50% off on Uber Eats. So 100 Thieves narrowly, I would say, maintains that perfect top 4 versus bottom 4 record. Definitely a very dicey early game. Big credit to Dignitas, I think, deserved for kind of winning all 3 lanes. I mean, Keine opened up some massive advantages, but the 2v3 in the bot lane from Dignitas, you know, Isles and Tomo showing up big. And I feel like Tomo could definitely be proud about how he played against his former team.
Definitely agree there. As we walk down